I'm Adam.
I'm Keith, and this is Unfiltered Founders, and we're almost out of beer.
We are. Time for another one.
All right, welcome back to Unfiltered Founders. We are here at our dear friend Matt Savona's chiropractic office, Savona Family Chiropractic in Dublin, PA, and he's been gracious enough to let us use his place, right?
Yeah, he said you stop over, have a couple of beers,
have a beverage, right? And we are going to get into the subject of AI. You and I have been talking a lot about AI since really digging into this project, and for longer than that. It's a huge subject matter that is political and educational, and obviously is now in business and financial analytics and all kinds of things, right? It's everywhere, so it's something that you can't avoid. And when starting a business and looking to start a business, it's something that most certainly you're going to have to look at and understand and consider.
Yeah, and like any tool, it can be used correctly and it can be used incorrectly. I got an email this morning from one of my publishers, Simon & Schuster, that was all about being careful about AI and what I put into AI, because as an author, anything I write, any idea I have, is something that I could potentially copyright. And if I put it into a public thing like if you don't have a subscription to a generative AI like Claude or ChatGPT, that is feeding their model. So you might come up with a great idea for a creative work and you're basically giving it away to them. And then you don't make as much off it in the long run. And there are not just that tool, there are different types of AI, right? So it's like having a box of wrenches. There's all different kinds of wrenches. There's spanners, there's torque wrenches. With AI, it's the same kind of thing. You have those generative AIs. You have predictive AI, which takes in a bunch of information and predicts a result. You have conversational AI, so like chatbots and things like that, which can be a great resource for a business. Analytical AI, where you're feeding it all of your data and it's doing the analysis for you. And then there's also automations, right? So using AI to help you with repetitive tasks, right? So if you're doing something over and over, AI can help with that. And all of these AI resources, these tools, can be a low-cost way for you to get into something with your business, but there are good things with it and there are bad things with each and every one of them.
Yeah, and I think, you and I, in prepping for this, we started getting into the discussion that I like the wrench, right, the tool in the toolbox, but even more so with almost humanistic nature that they operate in, where you are chatting with them and you're talking and you're prompting and you're communicating. It's like choosing coworkers. It's like choosing employees, right? And not every AI is the best fit for everybody. You and I operate very differently and actually have different preferences as to where we want to go in terms of that realm. But more so, I think that you have to understand that there's better tools in the toolbox, like you said, just like there are better people that are a better fit. Some people are better for being a bookkeeper. Some people are better at being customer service, right? And AI is very similar in that.
Yeah, for instance, I use Claude for a lot of things. I don't have a subscription to Claude. I have a subscription to ChatGPT and actually Gemini. But I use Claude for a lot of things, especially brainstorming, right? Coming up with ideas. I think Claude is really good at that. And it's a better creative marketing tool for the way I'm doing my business. But you use a different AI for the same thing, right?
Yeah, I'm a Gemini guy in a lot of ways for a variety of reasons. I do use ChatGPT. But I do find a lot of times actually taking things that I might get from other AI, or even the things that you'll give me, right? And then I'll plug it in, and I'm a little bit more rigid. I'm a little bit more structured, and Gemini seems to flow that way and write very similar to how I would write, and just communicate very similar. But the challenge with that is it's not it doesn't learn, right? That's not the way that Gemini is set up. So you kind of have to work off individual prompt basis. But I think for me, who has so many projects in so many different areas, in some ways I actually like that, because I go in, I do the project I need to do, I give it kind of gives me that fresh look, so to speak. I can always refresh it and bring it up to speed if I want to, but for you on the more artistic side, that's just not where you're gonna maybe live.
Yeah, so I want to come at things from the side, but again, in considering each of the tools, if I'm going to be creating stuff around our YouTube videos, Gemini is a great tool for that, because Gemini is built by the people that own YouTube. So using the tool made by the people that you're trying to use the tool for makes a lot of sense. So think about why you're using AI, what you want to use it for, and how you're going to use it. There's all different ways to prompt, and each of these different tools has different versions and different ways to do that. We're not going to get into the depths of all that. If that's something that you're interested in, please comment, and I'm happy to put some information together on that. And we have stuff in our community already, and we can add more stuff for our community members who are interested in that. But when I'm considering which tool I'm going to use, so let's say people are coming to our website and I want to have an instant response to them. So they ask a question, I want them to have that instant feedback. Thank you for your question. We're going to, give us a minute. Here's some resources, right? So that's a chatbot, right? So we're going to put up a chatbot. There's different ways that we can do that. We can have that chatbot pull from our database of resources with all of our planning, all of our ideas, so that when you ask a question, it's going to give you a more tailored answer in the way that we want it. Or maybe I just want to give you that very simple recognition. Thank you for responding to us. It's between 9 and 5, and Keith and I are both checking these things all day between 9 and 5. I don't want my chatbot to do that. So now I have to find a chatbot that does both of those things. Right? So that I can give a more personalized response when I'm actually on duty and responding as myself.
Yeah, well, and I think, it's a good segue into, it can't be a replacement for you. It can help be an extension, right? But it can't be a replacement. At the end of the day, it does funnel back to, us or you, right? In that circumstance. We talked about complacency with Matt, right, earlier, and getting complacent in business and the risk of that. Let's dig into, even in that, right, getting complacent with AI and saying, okay, well, it'll just take care of it, right, to my point. Very, very, very dangerous, and not the way that you want to go.
Yeah, and we're going to do our next video about mentorship. AI is not a mentor, right? It is not even an encyclopedia, right? Like one of the big things years ago that people would say about going to Wiki, right? You go to Wikipedia, well, it was easy for anybody to change that. As a matter of fact, I would oftentimes be at a bar arguing a point with somebody and changing the Wikipedia article to my side of the argument, right? And your AI can do the same thing. It can create these figments that either aren't true or aren't completely true. And what you want to provide to your customer, what we want to provide to our customer, is a catered response to them that gives them what they need, right? So when you're getting into AI and you're prompting AI or using a chatbot or any of those kind of things, you still need to monitor it. You can't set it free. It's like setting a 16-year-old free to run your business for you. Maybe not the best idea. That 16-year-old may be really, really good at what they do. And if you're 16 and you're starting a business, you're probably really good at what you do. But having a real mentor or a person to monitor that AI is it's priceless. You can't really be successful without.
Yeah, for me, it makes things quicker, and it's great to be able to take an outline and have that outline get converted into something a little bit more detailed, right? But at the end of the day, like if it creates something that's 8 pages, you need to be prepared to read and should read all 8 pages, because it ultimately is not going to replace perfectly what you want. And it's something that has to be used correctly. And I don't know if, I would label it like an employee, like we talked about Coworker. I think it has Coworker/employee vibes. But you wouldn't just sit there if you're a business owner and, or you shouldn't anyway, just say, oh, my bookkeeper's got it, and you never look at the dollars and cents, right? Like that's basically the mistake that you could be making there is, oh, my bookkeeper's got it, my accountant's got it, I don't need to learn it, I don't need to focus on it, I'm just gonna keep operating. And you're going to be frustrated down the road when a mistake gets made or something happens that you just didn't pick up on, right? And I think with AI, same thing. If you get too far down the road of where it's doing so much and you're not checking up on it, you can get into that real quick. Same scenario.
Even beyond that, let's talk a little bit about when we came up with this concept and what, not just Unfiltered Founders, but the whole hatch and ground idea and how we were going to present our information and the fact that we were going to script it. And we were going to have a scripted thing where we put in our knowledge and had the AI create what we were going to talk about, and how poorly that worked. It was funny.
To some extent, but
funny,
it was cheesy. Yes, it was. It was funny, but it ended up being cheesy and not working and not free flowing. Just ultimately not what you and I wanted out of.
It's not. It doesn't have honesty to it, right?
Nope.
And one of the big important things that we feel is important when you're building a business is that honest connection, right? And AI takes that away. When you look at an AI photograph, no matter how good they are, it has a little bit of to it.
Yeah.
And that goes the same with a script or text. And no matter how many platforms out there say, we're going to humanize your AI text, nothing beats you doing it yourself in an honest way.
I love that statement. And what I would say is that's just a rule of business. Nothing beats you doing it yourself in an honest way, right? The advice that we got from Matt in the previous episode, right? Be true to yourself. Advice that we've gotten from other people that we've been talking to in business. There seems to be some commonality there. And I think that's probably the core message with AI is that just like everything else in business, nothing's going to beat you doing it right and doing it the honest way.
Yeah. And think about when you're watching the news or sports broadcasters, right? There's a reason that Charles Barkley is Charles Barkley still.
Yep.
Because he's always who he is. You get what you get. And he's like, all right, well, this is me. This is what you're going to get. And I think when you're creating your business and you're thinking about using a tool that, a very, very valuable and useful tool, but it can take you away from that core aspect of what is going to make your business successful, you have to kind of go in with a tempered expectation.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's probably the biggest lesson we can give anybody, right, on AI. And, huge fan of it. I think it's going to be unavoidable for anybody and everybody. It's just going to be, you're already using it whether you realize it or not. Whether you're using it by choice or you're using it in interacting with companies and interacting on a daily basis. It's already there. So, understanding it is key, but I think we just want to reinforce at the end of the day, there is no replacement for you in business.
Yeah, there's not. And that said, if you're interested in AI, if you want to know more, you want some tips, tricks, anything like that, comment below. I'm pointing down because that's where the comments are. Unless I'm upside down, in which case comment below. Like, share, follow us. But really, I mean, we're happy to put together more resources. What we're doing here is really about you. And it's about trying to provide you the information and the knowledge that's going to help you be successful at what you're doing. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if you interact with us.
Yeah, and don't forget, we offer one-on-one coaching. So again, there is no replacement for us. If you'd like us, we're there.
Yeah, we're available. We're available one-on-one, and we're always in our community. Right. So the Launching Pad community over at hatchandground.com. You can get all kinds of information there. It's like having us one-on-one, except it's texting instead of face-to-face.
Yeah, but it is us.
It is, but it is us. We don't really use AI for anything over there.
Not for that, because it goes back to, I mean, there's no AI is not going to be able to replace what we want out of that community.
Yeah, we want to give you our knowledge, our failures, our successes, and a couple
bad jokes here and there.
Lots of bad jokes. Yeah. And we hope to see you there.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
We're going to be unfiltered founders, so fucking get used to it.